everybody, this is Joseph Sharon, and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle by Cain. And as if you can't tell, it's about a postie. And he has basically worked all of his life as a post office employee. And he seems like your average run-of-the-mill gentleman from England, but there's a side of him that people don't know about, and one that he is reluctant to release to the public or have anybody know about. And only he knows. Well, it's actually more than hinted at that his parents knew about it. But I'm not going to go into the story that much. I found it to be absolutely spectacularly written. I was drawn into the characters and these places in England that seem so quaint and absolutely beautiful. You've got the contrast of the individuals who support Albert and those who are closed-minded. And I like to say that I'm one of those people who is open-minded about the type of person that we learn that Albert really is. And I just think that people are people. Allow people to live their lives. It's not up to you to judge. It's actually God's purview to judge. In fact, the good book says so. And I just follow Jesus' example. And I know a lot of people state, well, Christians are hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. I'm sorry to say. We're human beings. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. And yeah, a lot of things are put under the umbrella of religion, but true religion doesn't concern itself with looking at people in a certain light. It looks at people under the microscope of love, in my opinion. Of course, I could be wrong, but that's why I have no problem. Dogma, it's a huge issue. Legalism, just as bad or worse as dogma is. But we learn about Albert's character as a person, and it's just such a splendid story, and it's just this thrilling love story that spans the whole book. And then, of course, there are conversations at the end from actual characters Matt wrote, and they feel very realistic, and he tackles this in a very meaningful way. And I think the book itself is also very appropriate, and it seems to me that it would be a perfect book for Pride Month. Beyond that, I can't really say too much about The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle. It was way too short. I wanted it to be longer. However, we are given a very pleasant and happy end for Albert and the characters. Of course, he goes through just heart-wrenching tragedy. I'm not going to say what happens, but if you're an animal lover, yeah, be prepared just to sob because there were moments I thought, oh, Albert, you poor dear. And I know you're not real, but I wanted to hug him because I had gone through what he has been through. And for a while, it really leveled me, and I didn't know whether I would ever see the light at the end of the tunnel again. But I realized that you can change your perspective. You have control. There's certain things you don't have control over, but there are a lot of things that you can handle. And that would be taking the steering wheel as far as your attitude is concerned. You can meditate, you can breathe deeply, and it's actually very healing. There are a lot of things that you could do that will help you. And I know this sounds cliche, and I know I've said it before, but grief is something that changes you as a person. It alters you, and I can say this with the utmost sincerity. Grief is not for the weak, and it will really make you a stronger person. At least I find that it's made me a much stronger person. Plus, I feel like I'm an advocate for it and showing that it's not all horrible, it's not all bad, it's not all gut-wrenching or destructive. Grief itself can really open up a lot of doors that you never thought would open due to experiencing it. And actually, Albert goes through grief too. And like I said, if you're an animal lover, be prepared to have a lot of Kleenex, because there were moments that I was at work, I thought, no, I don't want to cry, but it broke my heart. It literally broke my heart, because like I said, I've been through it. All animal lovers have been through what he's been through. And to those of us who have no children, it's much different. And it's not for my lack of trying, it's just because I never really got a chance to encounter the right person. But I still feel that if God wants me to actually have a family, I will probably go through adoption to do so. But even if I don't have a chance to adopt, I think that whatever occurs, I'm going to find peace in what I do, because you can't be defined by a thing to build happiness upon, because happiness is ephemeral and eternity is forever. So you have to know where you stand and just be well rooted in that. And sometimes it's hard, but I have found my comfort there. And I was thinking a lot about that today, and just pondering quite a bit about how far I've come, where I'm going, the usual sort of review that I give myself every so often. I realize that I'm kinder to myself, and I saw a lot of myself in Albert, because Albert came from a background. His parents were much worse than mine. Mine meant well. They loved me dearly. They just didn't parent well whatsoever. His parents, his dad seemed to be a real hard-nosed stickler, difficult to please individual. His mother, she really seemed distant as far as I could surmise in the book. She was also very challenging, especially when she becomes ill and combatant and forgetful, and it's so much, and this is very hard-hitting, and I just have to forewarn people, if you're going to read that and you've had these things happen to you, it may be raw. It may still rub you the wrong way, but I actually enjoyed reading it. I thought that this book was absolutely tremendous, and it's actually quite uplifting despite the fact that it has a lot of moments that are very, very sad. But beyond that, I can't really say that much else other than it was woefully short. I wish it could have been longer, and I'm happy that I have read it because it really enriched me and made me feel that life indeed itself is the true gift that what we all have, and we all have to cherish it. And at the end of the day, we do know that we can all rest easy in the fact that there's always tomorrow. And I mean, I'm always telling myself that. I mean, even if you've had a really sucky day, I mean, a real just terrible, no good, horrible, wretched day, there's always tomorrow. So it's like Annie said, the sun will come out tomorrow, and she was right. So I think that's what Albert finds too. I think he finds that there's hope, and the book is about hope. Honestly, it's all about hope. The promise of hope, and chasing hope, and actually encountering hope, and finding newness and purpose, and it's beautiful. But that's basically all I got to say about The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle. So until next time, live long, prosper, ciao to do.